Eastern
Eastern
stuff.
Conference. Yeah, and I think
talk about the Celtics. And
yeah,
the
we'll
Hawks?
talk about the Celtics in Atlanta. I mean, this
series
series
was cool.
Shout out to Trae Young, man.
Yeah, dude.
I think he gets a lot of disrespect in this league just
know
because
why.
of I think it's because he doesn't play defense and like
He's tiny.
you know I mean he's like he reminds me of like a James Harden, just not like as big.
No, for
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Drawing
like
fouls,
drawing fouls. He
hitting
can get a
threes,
bucket. He
pick
could
and roll.
facilitate. You know,
Yeah.
he's a
like that
scoring playmaker. You know what I mean? So
That's a good takeaway, honestly.
it was dope to see him ball out, and I always love seeing Trae Young in the playoffs. Like he just kind of has
He's always
like
elevated his game.
yeah,
for sure.
like kind of like you know, we'll get into it later on, but you know, kind of like someone else in this Eastern Conference. You know what I mean? Like they just step it up to another level, and it's always great to see competitive basketball. But you know, I know you're. It comes with the like title being a Lakers fan, but you're not that fond of the series.
Yeah, I'm like I super hate the Celtics.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're a Lakers fan, you cannot like green at all. Wear any type of green. I don't wear green on St. Patrick's Day. Like you know what I mean, like that type of stuff. But yeah, for me again, like Trae Young, super crazy. He's kind of always like elevated his game in the playoffs. So it was really cool to see him do that again.
Yeah,
I think the Celtics again, they're honestly overrated. And
you think so?
Yeah, and
are you putting your biased Lakers? Or?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even have to. I think present day, I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit. Present day, you can see that.
Yes.
Like they're 3-1 to Miami.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of says a lot about their culture and what they've built over there, and kind of like their expectations of what they should be and like where they actually are. I just think they're really cocky and overstated. But anyways, that wasn't shown in the series. Obviously, they won. So we're talking about this series.
They won in 6.
Yeah, they won in 6. So again, it was kind of the takeaway was like, of course, the Celtics are better than the Hawks. I think for me, Jason Tatum was going crazy too. He had an okay series.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was kind of like Joe Mazzulla's coaching tactics are really weird.
Yeah,
that was my takeaway from that series.
You think like that beginning series, like was that things to come for them type of deal? Like
I think the Philadelphia one was more of
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the one game against Trae for me that
dumb.
Yeah, when he went dumb, I was like, oh, the Celtics are kind of vulnerable.
Yeah.
In a way where like the guards, if you get hot, like the guards, you can kind of torch them. Like they don't really have the defense they used to like last year with Ime.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my takeaway. Like I said, like Joe Mazzulla kind of coaches weird. Tatum's good, of course, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. But yeah, Trae Young, I think for me was more of the takeaway.
That was more of what I was like, hell yeah.
Like and I think that kind of impacts the offseason for him because he's always getting talked about in trade rumors and stuff like that. But I don't know if the Hawks will want to trade him because he's always been a big game performer.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think, you know, my takeaway from this series, for the Hawks at least, this offseason, y'all are consistently making the playoffs, but y'all aren't top team
going anywhere. Yeah.
So it's. I mean, they made it to the conference finals 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago, yeah.
So I mean, y'all have the potential, but there was a lot of injuries, and which there's always, and I hate when people like bring that up because it's a part. It's a part of the game.
Yeah,
yeah. There's gonna be
injury
injuries.
stuff is
So you got to still go out there and hoop. But
of course.
Prior to that season, I mean, these past 2 seasons, y'all haven't really been doing much. Y'all get to like second round, maybe, and you know what I mean. And it's like y'all are kind of stagnant. You know, y'all traded for DeJounte Murray and stuff like that, and I don't think that was the right move, honestly.
Yeah, not for all those picks.
Yeah, build the team around Trae, get some good big bodies that can shoot, and I feel like that you'll probably be a top 4 team.
Yeah, and you guys have like Capella and like Okonwu, like young guys. You guys kind of just got in your system that you guys have built up. So
absolutely,
definitely work on that.
Guess we could go on to the next series. We'll do the 4-5 Cleveland versus Knicks. So
this series was sick.
What are your thoughts on that series, man?
Man, Jalen Brunson, bro. Like I don't know. Because he's newer, I think. Like of course, like he wasn't really around when I was growing up, obviously, because he's young.
Yeah, he's pretty young, man.
But like, man, like a few years ago, or what? This was, I guess, 2 years ago now when he was playing for the Mavericks. Still, I saw him against the Jazz when Luka was out, and he was kind of torching. But he's so good.
Yes.
And he really drives the Knicks to heights I didn't think they could go. I honestly thought the Cavs were going to win this series. That was my takeaway, is that the Knicks are a little bit better than I had originally anticipated.
Yeah.
And
What was your like original guess from this series?
I just thought that Donovan Mitchell would show up.
You thought they'd win?
Yeah,
in like
I thought Donovan.
6 or what?
I thought the Cavs were gonna win in like 5. Bro.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell were gonna show up and like hoop and.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Nah.
Even Jared Allen, we thought he was gonna be dominant.
Like, bro, I think he even said something along the lines of
the
like the lights are too bright.
Like what?
What? The lights are too bright in here.
Like, what you talking about?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
we don't crumble under
player,
pressure. Yeah,
you get paid millions of dollars. That's not the right thing to say.
No, not at all.
That kind of goes to show you the culture. Like that's a takeaway for me in itself. It
Yeah.
kind of goes to show you like they weren't ready to hoop, and the Knicks punked them. And Jalen Brunson's the real deal.
Yep.
And yeah, so I just feel like the Cavs kind of underplayed and the Knicks played to their strengths and they played well and they advanced.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, yeah, same thing, man. I mean, I think we watched. It was for Lon. We went out for Lon's birthday and that game was on and we were just chopping it up, talking about hoops, as we usually do. You know what I mean? And that series was crazy, man. Like Jalen Brunson was just proving to us that he's like really like that, you know. And like I know Mavs fans are probably punching the air right now, wishing that they would have kept him, you know. So it kind of just opened my eyes and see. Also, yeah, I guess, you know, like we just talked about, hearing what Jared Allen just said about it.
Yeah, like it's a real quote.
It's yeah, I mean, like that's kind of crazy. People are using that as memes and shit on Twitter now.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like you can't say that, man. Especially like I mean, trust me, don't get me wrong. I want to see Cleveland do good. Like I always liked like the fact that like y'all's whole franchise has really just been LeBron. And like you haven't really found an identity since he left. So
and Kyrie Irving's one big shot.
Yeah, one big shot. Like literally everything prior to that is Braun and then like Mark Price and shit. But like y'all didn't win, so it doesn't matter. You know. So
that's the truth.
You know what I mean? And it's I want them to do good, but if y'all like are talking like that and y'all's one of y'all's best players and you like kind of like crumble under the pressure, then y'all don't deserve to be moving on to the semifinals. You know, so. That was my takeaway.
Yeah,
and like Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he usually steps up. I was very shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked too. He kind of
didn't do anything.
Disappeared. It was weird. Yeah, it was weird, bro.
It was a very frustrating series.
It frustrated me too.
Yeah, like I wanted to see that. I thought that was going to go to 7. Hands down.
Like I think the Cavaliers might have some things they need to work on in the offseason. They got rid of Kevin Love. Like that was dumb. Like
and he's hooping
there's a few
right
things that the Cavs need some help. So.
Yeah, I guess we can go on to the next one then. Philly, Brooklyn. I mean, there's not much to say. It was a sweep.
Yeah, this one is not that interesting.
Nah.
I think it was like I didn't expect them to sweep. I thought they would gentleman's sweep. I thought the Nets would get one because
low key, I thought they were gonna sweep.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought McCall Bridges was gonna drop like 40 or something.
I mean, he did.
He did. It wasn't even enough.
That's more of a testament to how good of a player he is.
That was a takeaway for me.
And how like. Yeah, y'all might have. Super special. Yeah, y'all might have lost all the big 3 that y'all have, but like y'all have Mikal Bridges now, and he has
Cam.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, but you know, like I think there's not a ton to say. I think
that was the only sweep in the first round.
Yeah, it was
crazy to think.
But yeah, Embiid's crazy. He had a good MVP year. That was cool.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. But yeah, it was Tyrese Maxey too. I think for me the takeaway was just seeing the Sixers kind of dominate. I was like, oh cool, the Sixers are here. I thought they were gonna actually, and we'll talk about it in the next round. But I thought they were gonna take that next step.
Yeah, same.
I thought we were gonna get that battle, and we did in the next series.
Yeah, we did absolutely. And then I guess this last
one, man.
I mean, obviously we all know.
Yeah,
Milwaukee, Miami.
This probably takes the cake for
Miami winning in 5 games.
Yeah,
1 versus 8.
You want to start it off?
Man, I don't know.
Giannis was hurt.
Yeah, Giannis was hurt, obviously. But even in the game that Giannis was hurt is the game they actually won. So I mean, not much to say about that. But I mean, I just looked like Miami just was kind of in a different level. Like Jimmy Butler is like that, and that's who we were talking about. Like obviously, like Trae Young, they always step up in the playoffs, and he was saying that like no, like their playoff Jimmy isn't real. Like it's the same, and like honestly, right, like. I don't know what it is about you in the playoffs, but you definitely turn up, bro. And you like go crazy, man. It's crazy to see. This is like the closest thing since I guess LeBron really was in Cleveland, but like prior to that Kobe.
That type of like heroics. Yes, like I haven't seen that type of competitive fire. I think he was screaming at Drew. The point is, like, the Heat are the real deal in the playoffs, like when it matters.
Yeah.
And it showed in the series. And I think that's a big takeaway for us, was kind of like, Giannis is obviously great. The Bucks are great. And again, they fired like Budenholzer because of this series. But
which I think like they should. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think they should have too. I think
time.
he didn't make any adjustments.
No, it was time
he didn't
for
double
him to
Jimmy,
go.
but it just goes to show you that Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler are like not to be fucked with. And like I mean that like they're the real deal, and it's important that we take them seriously. So takeaway for me is the Heat are the real deal. The Bucks are kind of in trouble. I think as a franchise right now is like they got to pay Chris Middleton, who's not that good, and they're paying Giannis, and Giannis kind of made a joke like about leaving
Going
for
to
the
the
Warriors,
Warriors.
and that's not really cool to me. Like that would sketch me out if I was in the front office, honestly. So
Yeah, like you shouldn't
you shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
So I we'll see what happens with the Bucks, because there's a few people that could walk out the door and they don't have a franchise anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like
That's sketched.
it's one of those things like Giannis is arguably one of the best players in the league, and like y'all couldn't even
Easily top 5.
and y'all couldn't win more than one game against the Heat. That like they were good, but like
You got a chip too. You got the chip.
Yeah,
like,
y'all got a chip, but like at the end of the day, like that was
now. It's
we're
present
talking
day.
about what's going on right now in the league,
sure.
not what happened
A few
2
years
years ago.
ago.
And like, I mean, Giannis is goated for sure, but like
100% first ballot.
you're gonna be based off of what's going on right now, and as of right now, you didn't even make it out the first round.
Yeah.
So
It
a little
was a
upsetting.
failure.
Yeah, Giannis. I don't really like that, honestly. Like, I think you can fail, but as long as you know that what you went through and stuff makes you a better person next year, then
like-
I'm comfortable with that.
Right.
But you failed at the end of the day.
Yes, you're gonna fail within your success.
Yes.
Essentially.
Obviously, you're a champion. You got all these accolades. You're a DPOY MVP. But at the end of the day, man, what people are gonna base your career off of and your legacy is chips. At the end of the day,
For sure.
and to leave in the first round as a number 1 seed, it doesn't look good on you. It reminds me a lot of like that Dirk season. when he was
Yeah,
with the Mavs,
that's what they said.
So
For sure. Yeah, it was an interesting one.
going on into the next series, Miami versus New York.
Yeah.
Well, what are your
Man, I think
think
New
about
York
that?
New York looked gassed, bro. I think that's kind of like my first takeaway when I was watching this, because we watched it all.
Yeah.
Like me and CJ have watched pretty much like
This
every
whole
game.
playoffs,
I got League Pass, and
Yeah.
I made sure I was watching, and that was kind of my first initial takeaway. It was like New York just looked tired. I think Thibodeau playing Brunson, Randall 48 minutes, because again,
That's just how he coaches.
and this is after 82 games.
Yeah, this is-
so like
that's-
this is like
that's
you know,
how
this is
how
really
Tibbs
stacking
always
up.
been.
Yeah, he's always
even
been
when
like
he was
that.
in Chicago.
No,
D
for
Rose
sure.
and shit. Like it's just how he coaches.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. And for me, like I respect that. Like play your stars, of course, but like these guys are gonna burn out. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my first take. Was New York looked a little tired, and again, like Jimmy Butler, dude, he's just different. He elevates the Heat to another level. It was kind of like what I saw in the first series, because the Heat have been like this since the beginning of the playoffs. I
Yeah,
think since game 1.
Yeah.
Even in the play-in, I think.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, they lost that first one, but even then,
they still stormed back. So they were just showing like kind of their resilience as a team, and I was really surprised by that. And again, I've been shocked by what the Heat have been able to achieve still without LeBron. But yeah, those are kind of my two big takeaways. Was that New York looked gas. I don't know if Thibodeau's coaching style fit them for the conference semifinals, and then Jimmy Butler and the Heat are just on a whole nother level than any other Eastern Conference team right now.
Yeah, same thing. After Miami beat the Bucks, I was like, they're probably gonna beat the Knicks. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
dude,
That was
like-
kind of already my mentality going into this series. The Knicks are an all right team. You know what I mean? They're like they're
solid,
a
bro.
very weird team though. Like,
Yeah, they're up and down.
you know, like they're just really streaky. Like Brunson is their best player, hands down.
100%.
Randall is like second,
they
but
can't
like
score
and
really.
he gets just like the way he plays. Like he plays like he's like a big body. I mean, he's a big body, but like I don't know. Like I'm not gonna trust him at the end of the day. He's not like he plays like LeBron, but he's not LeBron.
Right. And
You know what I mean?
He's lefty.
And it's different.
It's
so
just different.
yeah, two lefties. Their two best players
Yeah,
are
for
lefties.
sure.
It's kind of crazy to think.
It's interesting.
Yeah, no, like
relatively similar feelings.
Yeah, Thibs is like your coaching style, like, and you've always been like this. And like, who am I to say I'm not an NBA coach? But like, don't play your players all game.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's just simple knowledge to me, at least. I mean, this is why you have a 12-man roster. You may not be using every 12.
It might go to 8-man roster in the playoffs.
And I think that's just more of like. And I feel like the Knicks have that.
Yeah, they have that depth.
Bench players.
I think Quickly was hurt.
Quickly was injured, I think, like the third or fourth game or something. But
it was like a little while into the series.
But I mean, still, like, I feel like that's just one of those coaching things. Like, and he's always been like that, though. Like, and that's always, like, I watched a lot of, like, obviously YouTube videos about NBA, and, like, everyone like, that's, like, the knock on Thibs. Like, he's a great defensive coach. He's going to, like, always have them in the games and stuff, and it may not score a lot, but they're going to hold the other team to a low amount of points, and that's all you need. So it's a cool coaching style, and I think it's something that the
it's
league...
respectable.
Yeah, the league, it's dope to see that, because usually it's just all offense. But in the playoffs, man, when you're going against a team that just came off beating the number 1 seed...
Tons of energy.
Yeah, they're loaded,
hungry.
Man. Yeah, they have a chip on their shoulder.
And like CJ said, it's just not a formula for success when like you just drive your star players into the ground, and that's all you have. Because then when you run Jalen Brunson out of gas and Randall out of gas, you don't have like any backup superstars you can just plug in there. So
not at all.
Those are kind of our takeaways from that series.
Absolutely.
And then Philadelphia, Boston. Man, this is a crazy one. It went 7. Obviously, it was a battle. I think Embiid's knee really played an impact. Like, we could really see he got gassed too.
Shout out to James.
Yeah, shout out James Harden game 1.
I don't like the disrespect.
You don't like the slander? You can talk about that for a little bit.
I was about to say, bro, I do not, I can't stand.
I don't either. I don't know why.
Yeah, bro, the James Harden slander, man. I just think like people don't appreciate like the players like that we're watching in real time. You know what I mean? Like they are always like, oh, wish I would have seen this player. It's like, no, bro, like appreciate what you have in front of you. Like James Harden is arguably like one of the best point guards we've like ever had in this league. And like people just look past it just because of what he's doing now. And it's like, he has, obviously, we saw it in this series. He has the ability to score 45 points or that you 47 need.
Like you need 50. Like
he got you, and then I mean that was kind of my little rant, but he went crazy in that game 1.
Yeah,
and then obviously on paper,
it was a big game 1 though. That game 1 helped him out so much.
Yeah, because was Embiid hurt that game?
Yeah, Embiid didn't play, and again, it was more of like that narrative was still surrounding James Harden, and I think again that game we'll get there, but the game 7 performance, I think it's just sometimes he disappears when you need it, but I think he also has shown up and he doesn't get the credit when he shows up. Yeah, because everybody else gets credit when they show up.
Yeah,
sometimes James Harden doesn't get credit when he shows up in the playoffs, which is weird. But yeah, I think again, I think Boston just kind of just had more depth and better coaching.
I think Boston was just a better team. Personally, like you said, depth. Like they literally, Brogdon, Brogdon, fucking Derek White,
like players like that.
You know,
like the Sixers just don't have.
No, they don't. They have
defenders that can hoop, get you a bucket if 20 points if you need.
Who was off the bench for Philadelphia? Like,
bro, they got D'Anthony Melton.
Yeah.
Who else? Like Paul Reed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Shake Milton, like guys like that.
Yeah.
Who else? They had a Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
I'm not saying y'all aren't nice. We know who y'all are. Like you guys are hoopers, but it's just different depth.
Y'all were the number 3 team because of Embiid and James Harden.
Right. This regular season, the MVP.
And like it's fine. Like y'all have like the young players and James Harden, rightfully so, and Embiid as well. Like I mean MVP, like they're different, So, but I mean going against a stacked team like the Celtics, it's just. And then I mean I guess like going into like that 7th game, like that really was on Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I mean I think Curry's record lasted for like a week and a half.
And then
and then Tatum put up like 51 or 50 whatever.
Yeah.
That game showed me a lot. I think Embiid went ghost.
Embiid and Harden both went ghost.
And that's a serious problem.
Yeah, they got blown out.
And it's a problem because I know he's one of the MVP, for years now, and I think he deserved it this season. I'm not to say Jokic. Obviously, Jokic is Jokic, but
yeah, he could have.
Embiid was, he was hooping. But you can't disappear like that when your team needs you most, and
he like the avatar.
And that's like your legacy, man. Like your legacy's the Kawhi Leonard game winner, the disappearing in Game 7, just stuff like that sticks with you, man. And we'll get into a segment a little bit later after we finish, man. But we'll kind of talk about how that impacts.
Yeah, I would say just going straight into the conference finals. Yeah. It's actually still going on right now. We're shooting this on the 24th right now, so the playoffs. I mean, the finals doesn't even start for a week, so we'll probably try to record.
It starts in June.
Yeah, we'll record another one before that, or as it starts, or whatever. Kind of our thoughts and stuff on it. But going to this
have a stream too.
Yeah, Miami is up 3-1 against Boston.
This series has been cool.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
So we saw the Nuggets swept the Lakers, so it wasn't really super interesting. This one's more interesting to me. I'm sure you can agree. It's just interesting to see how Boston's cracked and how they've kind of ran out of gas. And I think I'm kind of coming up with a theme here, but the theme is running out of gas. And I talked to CJ about it off camera, but players can't say that they're exhausted.
Yeah,
because we'll be like, oh, that's not an excuse, whatever. Yeah, that's just real, though.
Yeah,
like they're
we're all
human.
Exhausted.
We're all exhausted.
Realistically, at the end of the day,
that's a life thing, honestly.
Yeah. Like if you really want it, you're gonna bust your ass to get to there.
Exactly, and I think that's kind of a reoccurring thing I'm getting to, though, is like when you do something for years and years and you continuously take punches. Boston's taken so many punches. They took punches last year in the finals from Curry. They've taken punches years before from Braun and all these legendary players. It takes a toll on you, man.
It does.
And I don't know if y'all can tell, but if y'all have been watching, their body language just looks like shit. Yeah. So the Celtics probably aren't winning this series. If they do, well then disregard everything I'm saying.
Everything he said right there, I guess.
Disregard everything I'm saying, obviously, because it has no credibility. They're going to the finals.
Would you imagine?
Yeah, if they did that,
insane.
that would be
down
crazy.
3-0.
Yeah, I would look like a fool. But yeah, I just think Boston for me is just. They're just burnt out, and I think that excuse can't be used often, but that's just the reality of it. And the Heat, again, not burnt out. They have energy. They have Jimmy Butler. Yeah. They got Max Strus. And again, the role players
have been hooping.
That's another theme of this year's playoffs. Yes. The role players have been hooping.
Yes, bro.
They have been hooping.
I think
need to get some.
I feel like that's very eye opening for these teams as well. Like they're seeing that, like we need a star player to get us to this point, but we also need bench depth in order to get to the finals.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And to the finals where it matters.
Yes, like realistically, that's where you want to be. Like we could do good during the season, but if we can't even get to our conference finals, then what's the point?
What's the point?
We need depth. We need to be able to.
And you're still spending the money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna spend that money regardless.
You're gonna spend that money regardless, and be in the tax and again, like the new bargaining agreement, like. You don't get any extra thing for like saving your tax cap. You don't get any like there's no carryover for saving your cap. So basically, like the Spurs, they have to spend that cap whenever they draft Victor Wembanyama. They have to go get they have to go get free agents or they have to pay somebody. They have to figure out a way to spend that cap because there's no more carryover.
Gotcha.
With how there used to be. So it's just different. But yeah, I think it's just that like the Celtics look tired. They did win a game last night. What did you watch? I watched on the plane.
We were shooting. I was watching kind of sorta
sparingly.
Like not as.
I got to watch fully.
Yeah.
And
what'd you think?
I thought it was really interesting. I thought the Heat were gonna sweep them.
Yeah.
Up until the third quarter.
Yeah, let's say like after second half type.
Yeah, Jason Tatum started going nuclear, and that's where again, I'm a Lakers fan. Obviously, I'm not a big Jason Tatum fan, but I respect him and like. It says a lot about his character to go out and put like 50 points in Game 7s and stuff like that. So he's obviously like confident.
A great player.
He's a great player in what he does. And I think that I think the Celtics are gonna, if they lose the next game, I think they're gonna have a lot of decisions this offseason of whether or not who they're gonna pay and kind of like I think Jaylen Brown's a kind of wild card. I don't know if he's gonna play for them anymore.
Yeah, if you like that video, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Give us a little thumbs up on YouTube. Also follow us on all social medias. We got Twitter, we got Instagram. So yeah, follow us on that. I'm out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not throwing this. This is nice.